that video footage of, the Democrats celebrating after this bill. This is a bill that will essentially impoverish many working class Americans. How do you feel about that kind of rejoicing on the Democrat side after the passing of that bill?
I think it's really outrageous, especially since one of the provisions of that bill is $80 billion to hire 87,000 more additional IRS agents. Now, they have a bold-faced lie that they're not going to be auditing people under $400,000 that make under $400,000 a year. And the JCT has estimated that actually about over 80% of the audits are going to be on people making under $200,000 a year. So 87,000 new additional agents are going to come after you and me and every other American. And how are those audits going to be conducted? And how are those audits? Who's going to be picked to be audited? In light of what's happened with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago, that leaves a lot of questions unanswered. And Congressman, as Will pointed out, right after the bill got passed, the Democrats are talking all about how it's basically the Green New Deal bill. Is that what this is? Talk to our viewers about what's included in this bill on that side. Oh, well, yeah, there's about $400 billion. It's all Green New Deal stuff. And so this is really going to tax American taxpayers. It's going to tax American corporations at a time, we want them to come back in order to do all this Green New Deal stuff. I'm really surprised he only gave them a cookie. I thought he'd probably give them all a new Tesla, because that's really what this is all about. It's a Green New Deal initiative. This is part of what they've been wanting to do all along. And they're going to tax American corporations. They're going to tax us to get it at a time when we have high inflation, and we're also in danger of, if we're not already in a recession. They're doing the two things you can't do. You don't spend more money during when you have inflation because you want to bring inflation down, and you don't raise taxes when you're in the middle of a recession. So both things that they're not supposed to do, they did in this bill.
I want to ask you about Americans voting with their feet. What we're seeing is high earners from states like New York or California fleeing those states and going to places like Texas, Utah, Tennessee, and of course your state of Florida. In fact, we can take a look at Florida versus New York in population growth over a year's time frame. And New York is down 365,000 people, while Florida is up 243,000 people. You're seeing, in effect, is it not, a vote with their feet?
Oh no, but these, all these blue states have these crazy policies and crazy taxes, and so they're going to come to the free states that are run by Republican legislators and Republican governors, Florida, Texas, et cetera. And so, that's the greatest indication of all of what's really happening. And you know what? They don't learn their lesson. They continue to do the same things. They continue to raise taxes. They continue to have these crazy laws, make their streets unsafe, and then people are leaving with their feet. And so, if they keep on doing it, we're just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. New York State lost a seat in this census. We gained a seat. If they keep on doing it, before long they're going to lose 5 seats. We're going to gain 5 seats. Thank you very much. But don't bring your politics down to Florida. Yeah. If you're fleeing your state, because of the policies, don't bring them here because we're really happy in the state of Florida. We have now, for the first time in history, over 200,000 more Republicans registered in the state of Florida than Democrats. That's the first time in history. That's because what we're doing here in Florida works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You reduce the tax base and raise the tax